Hemos tenido mucha suerte. Toda mi familia, Stephen y los demás. Hemos sufrido desastres, pero al menos hemos sobrevivido. Todos sufren desastres y algunos desaparecen y no se les vuelve a ver.
I was born exactly 300 years after the death of Galileo. I estimate that about 200,000 other babies were also born that day. I don't know whether any of them was later interested in astronomy. The point at which the universe may have started out became known as the Big Bang.
El primer año que estuvo en la escuela de San Alban fue el antepenúltimo de su clase. Yo le dije, bueno, Stephen, ¿de verdad no puedes quedar algo mejor? Me dijo, bueno, a otros les ha ido peor. A él le daba igual.
Había 4 físicos en mi curso. Gordon Berry, Richard Bryan, Stephen y yo. Nos dijeron que leyésemos un capítulo, el 10º, de un libro llamado Electricidad y Magnetismo, de Blinny y Blinny, una combinación insólita, un equipo de marido y mujer. Y al final del capítulo había 13 preguntas, todas ellas de matrícula de honor. Me di cuenta enseguida de que no sabía contestar a ninguna. Richard y yo trabajamos juntos durante una semana. Conseguimos responder a una pregunta y media y estábamos muy orgullosos. Gordon no quiso ayuda y consiguió resolver una él solo. Stephen, como siempre, no había ni empezado. A la mañana siguiente se fue a su cuarto a las 9 en punto. Nosotros volvimos a las 12 o a las 12:05 y apareció Stephen. Estábamos en la entrada del colegio mayor. Hawking, le dije, ¿cuántas has conseguido hacer? Bueno, dijo, solo me ha dado tiempo a contestar a 10. En ese momento nos dimos cuenta de que no solo no estábamos en la misma calle, no estábamos en el mismo planeta.
I once calculated that I did about 1,000 hours work in the 3 years I was at Oxford, an average of an hour a day. I'm not proud of this lack of work. I'm just describing my attitude at the time. An attitude that nothing was worth making an effort for. I felt that there were 2 areas of theoretical physics I might study at Cambridge. One was cosmology, the study of the very large. The other was elementary particles, the study of the very small. However, shortly after my 21st birthday, I went into hospital for tests. They took a muscle sample from my arm, stuck electrodes into me, and injected some radio-opaque fluid into my spine, and watched it going up and down with X-rays as they tilted the bed. I was diagnosed as having ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or motor neuron disease, as it is also known. The doctors could offer no cure, and gave me 2.5 years to live. My dreams at that time were rather disturbed. Before my condition had been diagnosed, I had been very bored with life. There had not seemed to be anything worth doing. But shortly after I came out of hospital, I dreamt that I was going to be executed. I suddenly realized that there were a lot of worthwhile things I could do if I were reprieved. At first, there did not seem much point in working at my research, because I didn't expect to live long enough to finish my PhD. However, as time went by, the disease seemed to slow down. I began to understand general relativity and make progress with my work. But what really made a difference was, I got engaged to a girl called Jane Wilde. This gave me something to live for, but it also meant that I had to get a job if we were to get married. I wanted to understand how the universe began. as a massive star contracts, its gravity becomes so strong that light can no longer escape. The region from which nothing can escape is called a black hole, and its boundary is called the event horizon. One evening, shortly after the birth of my daughter, Lucy, I started to think about black holes as I was getting into bed. My disability makes this rather a slow process, so I had plenty of time. Suddenly, I realized that the area of the event horizon must always increase with time. My work up to 1973 was in general relativity, and was summarized in a book I wrote with George Ellis, called The Large-Scale Structure of Space-Time. Even then, it was difficult for me to write things down, so I tended to think in pictures and diagrams that I could visualize in my head. I began investigating the effect quantum mechanics might have on particles near a black hole. I found that particles could escape from a black hole, that black holes are not completely black,